This one is called Starship Troopers. The federal network encourages the people to join the mobile infantry, promising citizenship for their service. Pay attention now. The planet Klendatu orbits a twin star system that pulls countless meteorites, which its inhabitants, known as the bugs, hurtle towards Earth. The military intends to eliminate Klendatu to protect humanity. In Buenos Aires, John Rico attends the class of Lieutenant Razak, who talks about democracy's failure. He adds that voting, which is only for citizens, is an exercise of political force. This force is like violence, which has resolved more issues throughout history than anything else. Now, Razak then asks Rico the moral difference between a civilian and a citizen. Rico notes that citizens protect their society's politics, while a civilian doesn't. After class, Rico and his girlfriend Carmen Ibanez head to the school's bulletin board, where Carmen sees her high test scores. While Carmen talks to friends, Rico checks his score and sees that he failed. His best friend Carl Jenkins teases him and then asks Rico about his relationship with Carmen. He mentions that Dizzy Flores is also interested in Rico, but Rico wants Carmen. Later they dissect an alien bug in biology class. The teacher notes that the bug is superior to humans for its rapid reproduction and selfless instinct. As Rico pulls out the bug's innards, Carmen turns away in disgust. Carmen argues that humans created art and math, but the teacher highlights how the bug's evolutions allow them to colonize planets by sending their spores into space. Unaware of Carmen's disgust, Rico hands her the bug's organs, causing her to hurl, much to Dizzy's amusement. At Carl's house that afternoon, Carl strains at Rico's psychic abilities, but he fails. Carl notes that they still haven't discovered why some people have developed these abilities, hence why the university does the federal studies. Carl's pet ferret messes up with his computer, so he uses his psychic ability to send it to his mother, which the ferret obliges. Carl adds that he can't do that kind of manipulation in humans yet. The next day, Carmen cheers as Rico plays at the school's jump ball game. Rico evades an opponent, leading him to crash into the audience while he scores a touchdown. The opponent, Sander Barcalau, gets up with Carmen's help. He asks what she's doing after the game. Carmen mentions the dance, and Xander isn't sure if he can attend, since he'll be shipped to the Fleet Academy the next day. This excites Carmen, and since she aims to attend that academy as well. When Xander returns to the game, Rico confronts him for talking to his girlfriend. When the game starts, Rico gets distracted, allowing Xander to throw him down. Xander scores a touchdown, putting his team in the lead. Pissed, Rico goes to their team's huddle, but sees Sandler talking to Carmen again. The game starts and Dizzy throws the ball to Rico. Sander chases after him, but Rico reaches the goal line and wins. At his house, Rico's father confronts him about signing up for federal service. I mean, why would you even do that? His mother argues that soldiers get killed, while his father asserts that he'll go to Harvard instead. But this guy Rico insists that it's his choice. Before things escalate, his parents suggest going to Sajema Beach to see the galaxy after graduation, making Rico reconsider. Like, why not? Now, cutting back to the school dance that was approaching, Dizzy invites Rico to dance. She flirts with him, but he insists on just being friends. Rico excuses himself to thank Razak for inspiring him to enlist. However, he mentions that his parents are against it. Razak advises him to make up his mind, since choice is the only true freedom they have. Soon, Rico finds Carmen talking to Sander. The two address each other politely in front of her before Rico pulls Carmen to dance. While dancing, Carmen shares that Sander aims to be a pilot like her, and Rico admits that he's jealous. I mean, he is. Carmen assures him there's nothing to be jealous about. Rico decides to join the federal service, and the couple kisses. The next day, Rico, Carmen, and Carl sign up for the academy. Carl gets into games and theory to train for military intelligence, while Rico signs up for mobile infantry. This guy Rico is really something. The group vows to always be friends, despite being light years away. When Rico gets home, his father urges him to resign from the academy. Now he refuses to, so his father cuts him off financially. His mother shares her concern that Rico's enlisting because of Carmen. His mother shares her concern that Rico just enlisted because of Carmen. The following day, Rico meets Carmen at the airport where he announces that he's being cut off. Carmen sympathizes with him, but Rico is sure about his decision. Rico tells Carmen that he loves her, but she hesitates before saying it back. They kiss before Carmen goes to her flight. Days later, Rico gathers with his fellow recruits as their drill instructor, Sergeant Zim, complains about his new squad. When one recruit then laughs, Sergeant Zim, orders him to run. Sim challenged someone to knock him down, so Breckenridge volunteers, but Zim easily breaks his arm. Suddenly, Dizzy arrives, telling Zim that she transferred because she heard that his unit is the best. When Zim asks what makes her good enough, Dizzy challenges him to spar and lands a few hits before getting pinned down. Now at the cafeteria, Ace cuts in line, so Rico gets pissed at him. Dizzy tries to converse with Rico, but he complains that she tagged along with him. Dizzy denies joining because of him before walking away. During training, Rico and Ace compete to make squad leaders, but Dizzy kicks them off the platform. While taking their showers, Kitten asks everyone why they signed up. Breckenridge wants to avoid becoming a farmer, while Dejana wants to enter politics. When Rico's asked, Dizzy reveals that he enlisted for a girl. Soon, Carmen receives a video message from Rico. She then excitedly heads to her training and flies an aircraft into the Fleet Battle Station Ticonderoga. Later, she enters the Corvette transport ship Roger Young and sees that her instructor is Sander. Carmen ejects the ship and takes a sharp turn inches from the station to enter a warp to take them to Jupiter. Meanwhile, Rico and Dizzy train in a capture the flag game, but get cornered by Ace's team. Dizzy suggests a sports technique and allows Rico to defeat their enemies. Zim notes Rico's skill and promotes him to squad leader. Later, Rico thanks Dizzy for helping him. He then receives a message from Carmen, who's currently in Jupiter's orbit. However, she reveals that she'll pursue a career to command her own ship, which means she can't return to Rico. She tearfully apologizes and asks him to write back so they can remain friends. Rico finally admits that he enlisted for Carmen, but Ace reminds him that he's got his promotion on his own. One day, Rico leads his squad into a combat simulation using live ammunition. Breckenridge complains that his helmet is malfunctioning, so Rico removes it to check Dejana's trips when she gets hit by a laser, leading her to open fire and hit Breckenridge in the head. Because of this, Rico is removed as a squad leader and is lowered for removing Breckenridge's helmet. Rico feels guilt over Breckenridge's death, which also leads to Dejana quitting. Zim vouches for Rico, so he is publicly lashed as punishment instead of being discharged. Meanwhile, Carmen proves herself a skilled pilot when she changes their navigation course to a more efficient route. Sander then shares that their captain has officially invited them to be a part of her crew. He knows that they're a good team and hints at being more than just a good team. Suddenly, they notice a gravitational shift as an asteroid moves towards them. Carmen navigates the ship under the asteroid, but a sector gets detached from the ship. Sander reports to the captain that the asteroid came from the arachnid quarantine zone. She orders her crew to send a warning, but their communications are down. Despite the damages to the ship, the captains commends the flight team for preventing a collision. At the camp, Rico decides to quit despite taking the lashes. noting that he kinda joined for the wrong reasons and got someone killed. Rico receives a call from his parents, who are happy to invite him back home. Suddenly, Rico says his parents' house goes dark just before the call ends. The soldiers later watch the news about a meteor hitting Earth, killing millions. A meteor came from Klendatu, and Dizzy and Rico are shocked to see that their hometown was wiped out. Sergeant Zim requests to be sent to combat, but his CO warns that he can only go if he's demoted. Rico requests to retract his resignation, sharing that the meteor killed his family. Understanding his motivations, Sergeant Sim rips his resignation form, accepting him back into the squad. Soon the infantry arrives at Ticonderoga, where Rico and Carmen reunite. Carmen explains that their breakup was for the best since they are at war. Sander steps in and Carmen shares that they're in the flight team together. Rico walks away out of jealousy but stops when Sander insults the infantry. Rico holds back since Sander is the superior officer, but Sander announces to the floor to disregard their ranks. With this, Rico punches him, but Sander throws him down and beats him. Rico's friend pulls him out while Carmen walks out with Sander. Later, the squad gets matching tattoos, pumping themselves up for battle. The next day, on their way to the planet, Carmen detects plasma beams, which her captain disregards as harmless. However, the plasma beams destroy a few ships carrying the infantry. Two ships crash against each other, so Carmen navigates their ship under the collision but drives into a plasma beam. The mobile infantry is deployed and finds gigantic bugs that shoot the plasma beams. The soldiers kill them with the missiles, then move forward. The team gets cornered by an arachnid that kills one soldier. The squad rains fire on it until it dies, but dozens more arrive. Ace freezes in fright, so Rico encourages the squad to open fire. The infantry soon retreat at the general's command. As they retreat, the CEO gets captured and torn in half. Kitten also gets taken and his body's thrown at Rico, who shoots down the bug. With his last strength, the arachnid stabs his leg. Two more bugs come after him and Rico desperately fires at them. Carmen's broken ship finally arrives, and the next day, while the battle's death toll reaches 100,000, Carmen checks the list of casualties and finds Rico's name. She walks away, tearfully, unaware that Rico is actually alive. Dizzy and Ace find him in a tank and his wounds are being mended. They joke that he's officially dead, but they encourage him that he'll fully recover in 3 days. Dizzy leaves a kiss on the tank for him while Rico smiles. Days later, Rico, Ace, and Dizzy meet their new unit, the Roughnecks, who kill the most bugs during the battle. When Ace jokes about their lieutenant, Corporal Birdie punches him as the soldiers note that their lieutenant saved their lives and shouldn't be made fun of. Soon, Rico discovers that their lieutenant is Razak. Razak announces that the Sky Marshal intends to clean out the outlines of the Klendatu. The next day, the fleet drops bombs over Tangorilla, and the infantry executes any survivors afterward. After defeating an arachnid, their squad mate, Watkins, continues to fire even when the bug is dead. I mean, this guy's going bananas over him. They then launch a missile into a bug hole to kill its inhabitants and help the other troops take down an arachnid. But a tanker emerges. It shoots burning acid, melting Corporal Birding's arm. Rico climbs a cliff and drops on the tanker to shoot at it at the back. The tanker tosses him around, but Rico holds on and drops a grenade into the wound he created. He then lets go and the tanker explodes. Raza commands Rico's action and promotes him to corporal. Rico then asks Ace to be the new squad leader, but then turns it down since he froze before. So Dizzy gets the job instead. That evening, Razak treats his troop with liquor and entertainment. Dizzy invites Rico to dance, but he refuses. Seeing this, Razak advises Rico not to pass up on a good thing, so Rico goes and dances with Dizzy. Afterward, the two become intimate, and Dizzy confesses her love for him. Suddenly, Razak announces that they received a distress call, so the troop is moving out. When he sees Rico and Dizzy together, he feels for them and gives them more time to prepare. The following day, the Roughnecks arrive at Planet P. The sergeant tries to contact the troop who sent the distress call, but a flying hopper bug captures him. Razak shoots the man to give him a merciful death, telling his squad to do the same for him in such a situation. Razak then promotes Rico to sergeant. They soon reach the outpost but find that it's being attacked. At the communication tent, they find a soldier with a hole in his skull. I mean, goody goodness. They also find a General Owen, who reasons that he hid to avoid capture and protect federal security, according to him. He confirms that the bugs got into his soldier's brain and made him call headquarters, leading Rico to believe that the distress call was a trap. I mean, what would you believe at that point? Thousands of arachnids soon arrive, so the troop shoots them. Hoppers fly overhead and kill a few soldiers, including General Owen. Rico heads to the communication tent and requests for pickup. As their ship is moving, Razak gathers everyone to evacuate. The arachnids climb into the outpost, so they shoot them down. Finally, their ships arrive, and Sander comes out to help defend the area. A sinkhole captures Razak, and when Rico and Dizzy get him out, the lower half of his body has already been taken. Razak orders Rico to shoot him, so after hesitating, Rico puts him down. A tanker emerges from the hold, and Dizzy throws a grenade into its mouth to kill it. However, an arachnid appears and stabs her. Rico and Ace shoot the bug to retrieve a wounded Dizzy. Another tanker arrives, so the soldiers take off. On the ship, Rico cradles Dizzy as she dies. She tells him that she accepts her fate since she got to be with him. Dizzy passes away, and Rico kisses her goodbye. Sander heads to the cockpit, where he tells Carmen that Rico is alive. Carmen hides her surprise while Rico commands them to request a fleet to destroy Planet P. When Sander sends his request, his captain declines since the Sky Marshal has plans for Planet P. After Dizzy's funeral, Carl approaches Carmen and Rico. He shares that intelligence suspects a brain bug in Planet P, and they send the troops to confirm so they can launch an operation. Seeing their disappointed looks, Carl reminds them that they are at war. Therefore, he sent many to their deaths to ensure a victory. He reveals that the troops will return to capture the brain bug and promote Rico to lieutenant of the Roughnecks. While heading to Planet P the following day, Roger Young gets torn in half by a plasma beam. They abandon ship, but the captain gets crushed under a door. Carmen reaches the pod and barely escapes before their ship is completely destroyed. Rico radios Carmen escape pod, confirming that she survived. They witness her pod entering Planet P and crashing into a tunnel system. Sander gathers weapons, but they get surrounded by arachnids. Rico orders his team to rescue them, but Sander and Carmen get captured. Rico hears their screams and hesitantly cancels the rescue mission, acknowledging that it's just too late. It's too late for them. Unknown to them, the arachnids are keeping the pilots alive. The Roughnecks enter the tunnel system when faced with two paths. Rico chooses a different path against their mission. Rico can sense that Carmen is still alive there and requests volunteers to help him save her, while ordering the others to follow through the mission. Ace and Watkins join him. A large alien bug faces Sander, so he discreetly hands his knife to Carmen. The creature then stabs his skull and drains his brain. Carmen screams as she's lifted to suffer the same fate. However, she slices off the bug's appendage. Rico arrives holding a bomb that scares the aliens into backing away. Rico identifies the creature as the brain bug. Just before it retreats, the arachnids chase after them, so the team opens fire. Watkins gets sliced across the body, so he volunteers to trigger the bomb while they escape. Despite Rico's protest, he urges them to abandon him. Once the arachnids are close enough and the others have escaped, he triggers the bomb, blowing up himself and the bugs. When they reach the surface, they discover that the brain bug has been captured. Carl approaches the creature and senses its fear. Rico assumes that Carl used his psychic skills to tell him that Carmen was alive. Though his friend refuses to confirm it, the three friends walk together. Finding hope, they'll soon learn how to beat the aliens for good. Carl happily announces that Zim, Corporal Zim, who requested his demotion to private to serve, was the one who captured the brain bug. Rika commends his former drill instructor for his accomplishments. With the brain bug captured, military intelligence begins studying to learn how to defeat its race. Carmen is soon promoted to captain, leading her own ship, while Rika continues to lead the Roughnecks to defeat the alien race. If you have received value in this video and now you understand an amazing screenwrite just like this one, I thank you for watching and thank you for listening. And thank you because you know what to do and I don't need to ask you. Thank you so much. This one took a long time.